Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome back to my channel. Now about a month ago, I started a series called The Weird World of Who, where I talk about the weird extras and tidbits of Doctor Who's history that are a bit interesting, a bit different, and naturally, a bit weird. This time we are talking about the Curse of Fatal Death. Now this was a comic relief, or was it Children in Need? I need to get it right because otherwise people are going to get annoyed with me again because I got it wrong with Dimensions in Time. Well, whichever one it is, it was a charity thing back in 1999, written by Stephen Moffat, his first official Doctor Who pen stuff for TV, I believe. Maybe his first ever official Doctor Who stuff, unless he wrote some books, but I don't know if he did. Either way, this is a parody slash love letter to Doctor Who, and I've got to say, I don't think anybody could have written this if they weren't a Doctor Who fan, which Stephen Moffat is. I've had my opinions on his writing in various different stories over the years, and you know, I'm not going to deny that Moffat is genuinely a great writer for Doctor Who when he's on the top of his game, and this is no exception. You got a rotating cast of doctors, although you do have Rowan Atkinson, who you would say is like the main one, but you've also got Hugh Grant, you've got Richard E. Grant, you've got Jim Broadbent, Joanna Lumley, you've got the Master in this story, you've got the Daleks, and you have essentially just got someone writing a story mocking Doctor Who, but in a way that isn't like, haha, look how shit it is. You've got it in a way that, yeah, it's poking fun, but there's a charm to it. The stuff where he's talking about like, oh, but I got there first because I bribed the architect before you even got there and things like that. And the other funny thing about this story as well is there are a few elements within this story that you think, Moffat remembered that, didn't he? Because he's used it in his own era. Another thing that I absolutely loved as well was the whole like, I'll explain later. Because that seemingly is a thing in Doctor Who that we'll just sort of fan away any sort of explanation because we need the story to move on. You don't need to understand what happened, you just need to know that the day has been saved. I love the dynamic between Rowan Atkinson's Doctor and the Master as well. I think it is really funny, and again, it does show an understanding with that relationship. You know, with stuff like the set design and massively the TARDIS in this as well, it feels like Doctor Who, but it feels like, at the time, modern Doctor Who. It feels like a throwback that would work in the modern era, kind of like when we've seen classic series console rooms in the modern era. Like obviously there's that one in Hellbent, there's obviously the one in Jodie's era, which is obviously Joe Martin's TARDIS. It's like that, but updated for the time period, and this of course would have been the 90s, and my god, it is very 90s. I think the main thing that I can just say about this is it's fun. It's something that I must admit, I don't go and watch it every single week. I don't just, you know, decide to throw it on. Is it canon? No, of course it fucking isn't. Although some people are going to argue that, aren't they? It isn't. But it is just a fun 20-minute ride watching some brilliant actors give their take on the Doctor, albeit a little bit tongue-in-cheek. And I think everything about it just works. Rowan Atkinson, like I say, he is pretty much the main Doctor in this story. And he's probably my favourite out of the ones that we got as well, but I really like the extreme nature of the different personalities. So you've obviously got Rowan Atkinson, who is essentially doing Blackadder as the Doctor to a certain extent. Typical Rowan Atkinson style, where he's a bit pompous and a bit arrogant, but you are also a slight idiot style vibe. The Jim Broadbent Doctor, oh my god, he makes me laugh so much. The fact that he's so shy and he's so reserved, and he's like, oh, there's a girl there, I don't really know how to deal with this. Then of course you've got Hugh Grant, who I imagine was a slight template for the David Tennant Doctor, you know, the young, charming, swashbuckling style Doctor. And then of course you've got Joanna Lumley as well, who I believe is the first woman on screen to portray the Doctor. And again, there's a few Moffatisms, there's a few dodgy lines in here. Some of them you look at and you think, I don't know if you could say that now. Particularly when I'm referencing the Master's bumps. But either way, it's all in good faith. It's all a load of fun. I really love the Dalek props in this as well. That I'm pretty sure that they're not the props that we used in like the 80s. If they are, I don't know, but I really like the colour scheme on a lot of, well, the main Dalek that's got, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it reminds me of the Dalek from the Peter Cushing movie with the gold and silver. That's really cool. Or is it just gold? I'm pretty sure there's one that's gold and silver. Well, it's black, but the accents on it are gold. The stuff with the Master, and again, I think he's brilliantly portrayed, but I love the stuff where he's constantly falling down that well and he's in and out of the sewer. You see him burst through the door time and time again, and he's getting older and older and older. I just think stuff like that is so funny, and there are ideas in here that I think are genuinely great ideas for a Doctor Who story. Obviously, this is technically a Doctor Who story, and obviously Moffat would use elements of this. But either way, I just think this is a joy. It is weird. It is wonderful. It is a love letter to Doctor Who whilst being a parody. I just think it's brilliant. Although I don't like the romance aspect with the Doctor and the Master. And again, that is something that did somewhat come up in Moffat's time, I think-ish. Kind of like the Capaldi and Missy kiss, like stuff like that. Nah. But in this it works, I guess, because it isn't proper Doctor Who. I think I've got to say, out of all of the extras and tidbits of Doctor Who, this might be my favourite. There's got to be someone out there that this was their first experience with Doctor Who as well. And if you are that person, let me know. Like, was this your first intro to Doctor Who? And what did you think of it? Did you want to see more and ended up going back to the classics, or what? I'd be really curious to see if this is the thing that made someone a fan. In the comments below though, guys, obviously let me know that, if that applies. But also, what do you think of the Curse of Fatal Death? Even the title. Perfect. Love it, hate it, whatever it is, let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description as always. So if you would follow me on any of those things, I'd absolutely love you forever. But till next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye.